Hi guys, what is going on? Jack from Minifigs, and today I'm going to be talking about the top 10 best LEGO Star Wars sets ever made. So it's safe to say there's some pretty good ones in here. So jumping straight into the video guys, and in at number 10 we have the Razor Crest. And it's set 75292, and this is without a doubt one of the best LEGO Star Wars playscale ships ever made. Everything about this set is absolutely phenomenal. The playability to this set is insane, it looks great on display, it has a really decent selection of minifigures, and overall the size and scale to this ship is absolutely spot on. And even the price point for this set isn't too bad. So anyone who's a big fan of the Mandalorian and LEGO Star Wars playscale ships, well, this is the LEGO set for you. In at number 9 we have JABBA'S Prize. Set 4476. Now this LEGO set is a lot older than the Razor Crest, that's for sure. This LEGO set is an absolute classic. It features two fantastic minifigures. You've got the Gamorrean Guard and the classic Boba Fett. In my opinion, one of the best LEGO minifigures to ever be made. And then you've got that printed brick-built Han Solo and Carbonite. And you could have picked up this LEGO set for the retail price of only $7. Which I will admit that it would be a lot higher nowadays because you'd have to add for inflation. But still, you'd have been able to get this set at least on offer for about $5. And for this LEGO set, that would have been an absolute steal. But anyway, I just had to put this LEGO set on the list because it's one of my oldest LEGO sets that I have, and definitely one of my favourites. Moving on to number 8, we have the Battle of Endor. And this is an absolutely perfect example of a playscale set with so many different builds and features. Not only does it have a great ATST included in the set, but the Endor bunker itself looks brilliant. I love the simplistic design to it, yet you can open it up from the back and play around with it if you wish to. But if you don't, and maybe it's just going to be sat on your shelf, well, it's still going to look really good. And then you've got a really nice selection of minifigures. 12 minifigures to be precise. And let's be honest, there's no way you would get that many minifigures nowadays. So not only was this LEGO set absolutely top notch in terms of playability, the way it looks, but it was also an absolute bargain back in the day. Moving on now to 7th place, we have the Clone Trooper Battle Pack. And yes, this may not be the Clone Trooper Battle Pack that you may have envisioned. This really is the gold standard when it comes to LEGO Star Wars Battle Packs. It came with 4 minifigures, a speeder bike build, and a little turret. Obviously, the builds were nothing special, but it was the minifigures that won everyone over. The set included a clone commander, a clone shock trooper, and 2 regular clone troopers, all in their Phase 2 armour. And there was just something so cool about the classic Phase 2 troopers. But what made this LEGO set so good was the fact that you could pick up this LEGO set for only $10 back in 2005. So this really was a great way in order to build your clone trooper army. So yeah, another small LEGO set, but an absolute classic. Moving on to 6th place now, we have the UCS Slave 1, set 75060. And in my opinion, the Slave 1 UCS is by far the best of any of the UCS ships. There's just no way the Slave 1 was not going to feature somewhere in this list. I admit, I'm not always the biggest fan of the UCS ships. A lot of the time they do seem really overpriced, but this one was definitely worth the money. So the Slave 1 UCS is a must-have for any LEGO Star Wars fan. Moving on now to number 5, we have the Republic Gunship, set 75021. 2013 really was one of the best years for LEGO Star Wars. It featured so many good LEGO sets, but the Republic Gunship was definitely at the top of that list. But for me, it's the design and the playability of this LEGO set that is what makes it a top tier LEGO Star Wars set. It just has so many cool features. You have 2 cockpits for the pilot, multiple turrets on the ship, and plenty of space within the actual ship to stand up your minifigures. The only thing I would say is that maybe this LEGO set is lacking a clone trooper or 2, but other than that, it's a 10 out of 10. In at number 4 we have the Death Star, set 75159, and this was actually the second iteration of the Death Star. We had one a few years before this one was released, and I admit they are pretty similar, but there are a few little differences. For one, the minifigures in this LEGO set in my opinion are a lot better, and also some of the rooms within this Death Star look a little bit slicker than that of the older version. Not that the old one was bad, but this one really is one of the best LEGO Star Wars sets ever made, an absolutely iconic build. And it's also worth mentioning that the minifigures for this LEGO set were absolutely phenomenal. And not only were the minifigures great, but there was tons of them. There was 25 minifigures that came with this set. So as big as the Death Star was, you had plenty of minifigures to fill it with. Moving on to number 3, we have the Mos Eisley Cantina. And this is a LEGO set that you can actually currently buy right now. The only negative I would say for this LEGO set, it probably doesn't look the best on display, because if you're going to display it, you're probably going to have it closed up. But it's on the inside of the cantina. That's where the magic really is to this LEGO set. LEGO really did capture the whole look and feel to the Mos Eisley Cantina. And just like the Death Star, it features one of the biggest selection of LEGO Star Wars minifigures to ever grace a LEGO set. So the Mos Eisley Cantina really is a top tier set. Moving on to number 2, we have the Republic Dropship with the AT-OT. This one dates back a fair few years ago, back to when LEGO Star Wars first started doing some of the Clone Wars sets. And this one really was an all-timer. You was basically getting 2 ships for the price of 1. You've got the great looking Republic Dropship, similar to the Republic Gunship, but obviously you don't have that little bay area where the clones stand. Rather, this one is obviously a lot more sleek, because in canon this was built to deploy AT-OTs and ATTEs. So not only do you have the Republic Dropship, you also have the AT-OT. And that's where you were able to deploy all your LEGO clone troopers. And that was another thing about this LEGO set. LEGO didn't skimp on the clone troopers. They gave you just enough clone troopers so that you could have a lot of fun with deploying them on the AT-OT. I think because I'm such a big fan of the Clone Wars era, that's why I probably like this LEGO set so much. Tons of clones and 2 fantastic Clone Wars era ships. What's not to love? Moving on now to my favourite LEGO Star Wars set of all time. It's Betrayal at Cloud City, set 75222. For me, this is easily the best LEGO Star Wars set of all time. Fantastic minifigures, an amazing build, iconic Star Wars rooms and scenery, 2 great playscale ships, and so much bang for your buck. Where do you even start with this LEGO set? Each and every section to the Cloud City build is absolutely top class. You could just have so much fun playing around with this LEGO set, and it really was the perfect LEGO set for both kids and adults alike. Kids could have hours of fun playing with the LEGO set, and adults could have tons of fun setting up the minifigures to display them within the set. So this LEGO set really did appeal to such a big target audience. And I cannot forget to mention that in my opinion this LEGO set also has the best LEGO minifigure of all time, that being the Boba Fett minifigure. This is by far my favourite minifigure of all time. It features some of the most detailed, exquisite printing on a minifigure you'll ever see. So to have that minifigure included in this set is yet another reason that helps establish this set in my mind as the best LEGO Star Wars set of all time. But anyway guys, I'd love to hear your thoughts on what your favourite LEGO Star Wars set of all time is. Be sure to put it down in the comments, as I make sure to read and reply to every comment I see. But anyway guys, thanks for watching this video, I really hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you on the next one.